Welcome to With the First Pick. We're going team by team with a perfect 7-round mock draft. Who is on the clock today? It's the final team picking in the first round, Mike Renner. Your NFL champions, Philadelphia Eagles. By your, I mean Debo. All right. Here we go. Tennessee Titans' biggest needs, best fits, and sleeper picks that could somehow make this team even better. I don't know how that works. They have 8 picks in the first round. That's Mike Renner. I'm Ryan Wilson. Let's get to it. So, Mike, I'll ask you this. What is this team's biggest need?
They don't have any. They none.
Really don't feel like they do.
Gosh. Safety, maybe?
Safety?
And I struggle to even call it a need. They have a third rounder there sitting there who just hasn't had to see the football field.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. There really is.
Sydney had the ACL, and maybe safety's neat because they lost Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. You could say maybe edge because Brandon Graham retired, but Howie Roseman drafts these guys in the third round, and they immediately become impact players like Jalen Hunt, for example. Maybe wide receiver, which sounds stupid to say when you have Slim Reaper and A.J. Brown. They do have Jahan Dotson listed as a starter right now. Very few needs. James Pierce Jr. just feels like a Howie Roseman pick. There's going to be the off-field concerns, but he's a top 10 talent. So I'll leave it to you, though.
Right. Yeah, I think they have a shootout off-field concerns at times to their benefit, most notably Jalen Carter. This feels like a situation where they would do the same, James Pierce Jr.
Just the rich getting richer on the field. And, a lot of times the right locker room can fix some of the issues that teams have with these players. So James Pierce Jr., off the board here. Again, if we're just going strictly on football, he's top 15, top 10, 6'5", all day long, 248. I thought he played a little bit bigger than that. So good. The defense somehow just got better. Your guy, Kevin Winston Jr., is there if we're looking at safety. I like him a lot, too. You had to go back and watch 2023 because he only played 1 or 2 games, I think, before he got injured. Then ran a 4.5 a few weeks ago. And I think he plays actually faster than that. His 2023 tape was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. So if we want to go in that direction, we certainly can. Andrew Makuba, who I like a lot, he's a little undersized. As Texas safety is also available. What are you thinking, Mike?
I'd be interested to see the linebackers available too.
Ooh.
It's a little early. Is like Schwessinger there? No, he's off the board already. Not surprisingly, because I think with Nakobe Dean's injury when it happened, TBD on when he returns, right? Even if he was awesome last year,
and it was a pretty serious injury, wasn't it?
But yeah, I think it was a torn patellar, which obviously not great. So at this point, the value is just not there. So I'm probably looking elsewhere.
All right. Yeah, we'll circle back. They got Jeremiah Trotter last year. Rick Spielman was a big Jeremiah Trotter fan, but obviously Nakobe Dean is a huge loss. So what are you thinking now?
I'm interested in Oladejo at this point. Right?
Oh, my guy.
He's kind of that guy who's played off-ball linebacker. So
I was going to say,
truly play off-ball for them.
You could do the old Zach Bond thing with Femi Oladejo if you want.
Yes, and could be a little bit of a project edge, but there's a lot to work with. In only 1 year of really rushing the passer, he showed a lot to work with, in my opinion.
Absolutely. If you want to see what that might look like in the future, just go watch him beat up on producer Striker's Penn State right tackle, because that was, I think they call that teach tape, Striker.
All right, you passed on Winston and you somehow went at Penn State.
Yeah,
on the same pick.
Got a 2 for there, 2 for 1. All right, next up, pick 96. So we're at the bottom of the third round here. Okay, I'll ask you. And I know sometimes we draft players to more than one team because we do 32 of these things. How do you like the idea of your guy Kyle Williams fitting in Philadelphia?
See, I don't know what their offense is going to look like, but they just didn't use 3 wide receivers enough to justify. Now, I love Kyle Williams, right? But I don't know if he's going to even see the football field should he get on that roster. So obviously the value, I would pick him, but I think Andrew Makuba could make a bigger impact.
Ooh.
I think Anthony Belton could be, fits in as just this massive offensive line, right? He could be your answer at right guard should Tyler Steen not work out and Kenyon Green not work out. Just give you some more flexibility there. You got to play inside and outside. So that's kind of where my head goes with this.
I love both those guys. I love Belton. So they pick at 96 as we are. That's where we are now. And then they pick at 134. I feel like Makuba will be gone at 134. And maybe Belton's around there, but what do you think is the biggest need in terms of the Eagles?
I kind of like the Fannin pick too. I just saw him when he snuck down there a little bit.
You know what? And here's the other thing.
Yeah. Oh, what were you gonna say?
Yeah. So who gives you the most bang for your buck in year one? Is that Kyle Williams or Harold Fannin Jr.? Because it feels like Harold Fannin Jr., right?
They play more 2 tight end than that 3 wide receiver. And he is obviously went to Bowling Green. Scott Loeffler is now the quarterback's coach. Bowling Green head coach from last year is now the quarterback's coach for the Philadelphia Eagles. So tea leaves, putting it together. If he's on the board here, I'd be surprised if they don't pick him, honestly. With what Loeffler raved about this guy, Fannin. So,
and to bring this full circle, Mike, Harold Fannin Jr. put a whooping on Penn State's defense, so that makes perfect sense. Harold Fannin Jr. it is, Striker. Hit the button.
We're only watching Penn State tape this fall, and if a guy kicked Penn State's ass, he's going to be a Philadelphia Eagle.
He's going to be a star.
Yeah, the Eagles are known with Saquon and Jahan. They're Penn State powerhouse.
All righty. Pick 134. Is Belton still there? Is he gone, producer Striker?
Yeah, I think he's off the board.
All right. I'm laughing because I see the 2.0 version of Tanner McKee. Tyler Shuck is still there too. If he wanted to draft another,
no, they're good on backup quarterback. They don't need. They're golden. Tanner's next Matt Flynn is going to get a big deal off of one game.
All right, so where are we now? What are you thinking here?
Man, I mean, we can't draft Kyle Williams because it's just not fair again.
So they have Saquon, obviously, and they have A.J. Dillon they signed from your Green Bay Packers, and then Will Shipley, who is sort of a, he's a smaller version, more of a do-everything sort of back. Is running back a consideration here to take some of the miles off Saquon, or is A.J. going to be healthy enough?
I doubt it. I doubt that. I think they drafted on the 4th last year. Shipley actually didn't look too bad when he was in there.
Okay.
So I doubt they would go that route.
All right, so we have James Pierce.
That's what line class looks like because we haven't really.
All right, let's go there. Offensive line?
Defensive line.
Defensive line. Yeah. No, actually, that's a consideration. Especially in, people will be angry because they have Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, but Jordan Davis' contract, I believe, is up. I think he's going into year 4, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that could be a situation where you're playing for the future. I'm a big Tonka Hemingway guy. This may be a little too early for him, so maybe we can wait on that. We talk about Ty Robinson every mock draft. Is there anybody else that catches your eye?
No, this is kind of. I thought there might be a little bit more. There's not at this point in time.
All right, you know what? Though, let's look at offensive line though, and see if we can find a big guy on the interior to be Mekhi Becton 2.0 if Tyler Steen doesn't work out. Obviously, we always want to draft Willie Lampkin because he's everyone's favorite.
We kind of do for them too, because if anyone, the team that had Jason Kelsey starting for a decade feels like the team that can make it work with Willie Lampkin, right?
So their last pick, and I'll say this now, their last pick is 168. The last pick, one of the last picks in the 5th round. If Willie Lampkin's there, we will take him at 168.
Perfect. All right.
So for now, we'll circle back on that. That would be fantastic. All right, but now we got to make a pick. So which direction do you want to go?
Can I see corner? We're really scraping here, but
I mean, for real, that's how good this team is. Nuts. Keely Ringo is listed as a starter right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something.
We can go Quincy Riley or Zay Frazier here. I like both those guys.
Yeah, I like Quincy Riley. He's a tough, undersized, whatever, quotation marks, but he's a tough player. He plays much bigger than his size. So let's go Quincy Riley here out of Louisville.
Sweet.
I love that. He feels like an Eagle. And now we're pick 1.
6-1.
Yeah, now we have 4 of the next 8 picks. So you should
4
be
of the
able
next
to
8
double
picks.
up on
Willie
some guys
Lampkin,
here.
hold on to your seats. All right, pick 161 here. We can take Kyle Williams.
He's not going to be on the board. We got to be a little real here. I wouldn't hate Isaac Tesla at this point.
No, that's where my eyes went immediately. Big middle of field target. He's going to catch
Ball's
everything.
built for number 3. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Out of Arkansas by way of Hillsdale, Isaac Tesla, pick 164 and 165. So we can double up on these if we want.
I want to keep scrolling down a little bit, just see who's avail.
I mean, there's so few needs on this team. It sounds silly to say.
Another team that I just don't think they're going to make all these picks.
How about we take Tonka Hemingway here to get some defensive line depth?
Say Kobe King. We still haven't touched that linebacker need,
and you can get Kobe King here too.
Yeah,
Finally, Penn State guy comes off the board. Unless you have,
guy. I don't know. Actually, do we? Are they
are you looking at our guy Dante?
Is he going to be too upset by what Fannin and Oladejo did to him?
Have to have a talk to him. Have to sit him down on the call when you draft him. So, all right, let's take Tonka.
We can do those two.
All right, we'll take Tonka Hemingway, the defensive tackle out of South Carolina, and then at pick 165, we'll get Kobe King out of Penn State, repping producer Stryker. All right, let's see. Is our guy Willie Lampkin still there?
Willie.
There's no way he got drafted.
Willie. Oh, he's gone.
He's gone. He wasn't going to wait around for us.
We just missed a Pro Bowl center.
Just
all right.
Pro Bowl center.
You would have been a backup.
All right, so we get Pete's guy, Jonah Monheim here, center out of USC. There we go.
Tackle.
God, this is an
he feels like kind of feels like what's his face? Who was the guy they used to have there? Jack.
Oh, out of Driscoll?
Jack Driscoll. Feels very Jack Driscoll-y.
Jack Driscoll, a phrase never been uttered in human history. All right, this is an embarrassment of riches for the Philadelphia Eagles. So hate it all you want. This team was somehow a lot better than they were going into the draft. If this actually happens. James Pierce Jr. at the bottom of the first round just feels like a Howie Roseman type situation. Femi Oladejo played off ball for much of his career, moved to outside for UCLA last year, so he has that versatility. Harold Fannin Jr., tight end on your scorecard, but he can line up just about anywhere out of Bowling Green. Quincy Riley, tough cornerback, can play in the slot. Isaac Tesla, another slot receiver, big target out of Arkansas. And then Tonka Hemingway, Kobe King for defensive side of the ball. And then finally the last pick, Jonah Monheim, interior offensive lineman out of USC. That wraps up the perfect Eagles draft class. And make sure to subscribe to NFL and CBS on YouTube and download with the first pick wherever you get your podcast. And you can check out all 32 perfect mock drafts over on YouTube because we've done them all.